Hello and welcome to the UCM podcast. I am here with Dr. Bill Davis. Thanks for joining us. We're going to be talking about an awesome topic that we'll get to in just a second. But first things first, Bill, welcome to the podcast.
I'm so excited to be here, Tony. Love doing podcasts with you, me and you together on this podcast, talking about a crucial topic for upper cervical practices.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And for those watching this as a replay, as a rerun, or if you're watching us live, welcome. And so here's the topic. This is a major one that every single practice faces, right? It's something that is foundational to having a chiropractic practice. How to build a UC specific patient education system without spending months, sometimes years, developing it. How to build the UC specific patient education system without spending months developing it. That's what we're going to be unpacking today.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is awesome because it's such a crucial piece. It's something that everyone needs. Literally, no matter where you are in practice, you need a patient education system. It's a crucial part of a practice. It's how you make an impact in your community. Really, is to, as all of us who've been through chiropractic school probably have learned, the word doctor means teacher. It means to teach. And so if you're not teaching your patients about their health and about how upper cervical chiropractic is so crucial, then you're missing it. You're missing really the main purpose of your practice is to shift their minds and their life when it comes to their health as it relates to their upper cervical spine.
Absolutely. So let's get into a couple other things here.
Yeah. Yeah. So, just a real brief introduction. If you're, it's the first time you're ever being exposed to us, UCM Practice Growth System, I am Dr. Bill Davis, and this is Tony Hook. We help upper cervical specialists grow their practices. That's what we're all about. So if you're first time listening to this on the podcast or first time watching us on one of our social media channels, we're glad you're here. Welcome. And the other thing is, why should you listen to us? What are we all about? What have we done to help upper cervical practices grow? Well, over the past 11 years, we've been blessed to help over 250 upper cervical practices, including doubling dozens of practices, helping many doctors build $1 million practices, add associates to their practices, add additional locations, helping many doctors get started in practice. Yeah. We've helped over 100,000 new patients find upper cervical practices through our systems. And on this podcast right here, we've interviewed over 150 of the most successful upper cervical specialists in the world. We've also written 2 editions of what is considered the UC Practice Success Handbook, Upper Cervical Practice Mastery, Learn Success Secrets of the World's Top Upper Cervical Doctors. So we've been busy. We've been busy over the last 11 years, really focusing on serving upper cervical doctors and their patients through this company.
And we share that just to let you know, like, hey, maybe we know a couple things. maybe there's a few things that we've learned along the way, and you have too, I'm sure. But we've really taken time. You're seeing patients, you're doing all kinds of other things. We've taken time to really delve into this topic to see how do we make it the most effective as possible. Right? What do we trim out? What do we add in? And what's the best way to communicate? All of that stuff. We want to share that. We want to impart some of what we've learned right here, right now. And so how important is this? I don't know that we need to spend much time on it because I think everybody knows that. I mean, according to our UC practice survey that goes out every year, this has been like, I think it might be that it's in the top 1 or 2 for generating new patients as a whole. And it's always been, to my knowledge, it's always been number 1 for internal marketing is patient education. It remains that way because you're equipping patients to refer others. You're equipping patients to stay in care. So, because people that get it are more likely to stay in care, they're more likely to refer others. And it's just more fun to deal with people that get it. I mean,
Yeah.
right? You're not
Yeah.
having to constantly convince them that, stay the course, you're holding and you're trying to retrace. And so just hang in there, keep your appointment. They already are there. They get it. And they're when they come in, they're the true fans and they're excited that they're holding and they didn't need to be adjusted and all those different things. So it's super important. It is the number one way. Absolutely. It doesn't matter what stage of growth that you're in from day one. Heck, from before you open, that's where you can start presenting what you do, how it works. There's part of that education right there from even before, just as you're setting up your branding and website online,
Yep.
videos that you could release, whether you're starting it, whether you're going to be, into stage one, the do everything doc, when you just first open, or if you're getting ready to transition, education is important every single step of the way.
That's right. 100%. Yeah. And it's something that you can always get better at also, right? It's
Sure.
something that no matter where you are along the way, it doesn't matter if, you've been in practice, you've got a rock in practice, you've moved through these stages, you're not in those early stages anymore. You've really gone into this mastery type stage, right? You have multiple associates or multiple locations. You can still get better at patient education, right? Like you've never arrived when it comes to this, right? You can have a system in place and be like, you know what, I feel like our patients are getting it. You know what? They could still get it more, right? It's one of those
Yeah.
things you can continue to get better at. You can continue to fine tune. You can continue to add to so that it becomes more and more robust, more and more consistent. Because what you ultimately want is you want every patient to get it, right? That is the goal. Every
That's the
patient
goal, right?
gets it.
Mhm.
Every team member gets it. That's even maybe more important, but
Yeah.
every patient gets it as well. And if every patient gets the big idea in your practice, then your practice will be flooded with referrals, right? It's one of those things. It's going to happen no matter where you are in practice. And so
Yeah. It
let's
makes
take a
sense
look.
to take time to look at this. It makes sense.
Absolutely. So let's take a look at what all is involved in patient education, because it's, sometimes it's one of these things. It's kind of, it's a big concept. It's a big topic, right? Patient education is a lot of things. And really what it's focused around is clarity of key upper cervical specific patient education topics. And we're going to talk about some of those, what we basically consider to be the 7 most important topics that every upper cervical patient needs to get. But that's a key one. And then providing people with different learning styles, different opportunities to get the big idea, right? There's 7 different learning styles as well, and different people learn in different ways. And so when you have opportunities for people to learn, regardless of how they learn best, that is an extremely effective part of a good patient education system. And then also you want to make sure that you're reinforcing key concepts with multiple touch points, right? You can never expect someone to get something by hearing it once, right? You have to reinforce it. You have to have multiple touch points. You have to have multiple different ways that you're saying it, you're showing, you're demonstrating, you're hearing it, right? It's those multiple touch points is key. And then having educational resources available is also crucial, so that people can, take it home and think it through and understand it at a deeper level as well. All of this working together is a patient education system. So let's start diving into those key topics. And I'll tell you what, Tony and I did a great podcast on episode 200. It was our anniversary episode several months ago, and we dove into all 7 of these concepts, these 7 patient education concepts in detail. And if you want to get more information on that, recommend going back and listening to that podcast, episode 200. But today we're at least going to hit them at a high level, just remind you again what they are. But this is more about how do you build the system, not just those specific topics. And so, but we are going to hit these 7 topics. So Tony, let's walk through them. What's topic number 1 that everybody should have as part of that patient education system?
Yeah, look, one thing real quick though, I think everybody that's listening to this and watching it goes on some level, you're like, yeah, I do patient education.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said earlier, it's like we can always be getting better. But I'll say this, that you'll know that you have some issues when your referrals aren't there, or when people
Yeah.
are saying, yeah, I refer people, and then or they don't, nobody comes in, or if there's um, if people are canceling or rescheduling their appointments,
Mm.
or they're not transitioning into wellness care,
Yep.
or you keep getting the same questions over and over from the same people. These are some of the warning signs that something's not, either something's missing or it's not as for whatever reason it's not as effective. So I just give that out there. It's like, don't ever, like you said earlier, don't ever think you've arrived. Like, let's dig
Yeah.
into these things and let's get better and better and better as a team, really team upper cervical, to communicate this, because that increases awareness and understanding. So all right,
Yeah.
so if every patient could have these things, like number 1, what is a subluxation? They should have some understanding of what is it and why does it matter, right? So what is a subluxation? Next thing, how long until my symptoms go away? Right? Like that's expectations. And obviously part of being a doctor is managing those expectations, setting them up in the beginning, but then also managing them along the way. So how long until my symptoms go? If they're expecting a quick fix, like, hey, doc, I'm going to come in, crack my back. Okay, well, we got to get them. We need to deprogram them and then re-educate them along the way. So this is another major one. What is retracing? So they can understand, what is that healing process? What does it look like? What is going to be happening to my body? And then it's almost like you just kind of have them expect, this is from my experience, you almost just kind of expect a lot of different things that could happen. It could
Yeah.
be a one adjustment and you're good to go, or it could be this journey. And oftentimes it's the latter, but helping them to see that there's the healing process, and it is exactly that. It is a process.
And
And then
let me jump
oh,
in
go
on
ahead.
that one real quick,
Yeah.
Tony. Go back. Um, a key concept here with the retracing is making sure that people understand the concept of good days and bad days. Right. This is a key concept that should always be addressed in a report of findings and continually reiterated in future visits and even in progress exams. Good days and bad days. Right. So as we go through this healing process, Mr. Smith, as we go through this healing process, you're going to have good days and bad days, right? You're going to have days where you feel fantastic, and you're going to have days where you feel like you've gone back, and that's all normal. That is part of the
Yeah.
healing process. Your body has to work through all the damage that's been done over the years and begin to heal and get stronger and get more stable with time, right? So
Yeah.
introducing that early on and then continuing to reiterate it is huge for the retracing concept.
Absolutely. And one of the things we'll talk about is how to be hitting it, regularly as you go along. This is not a say things once and you're done. Wouldn't that be great? You just tell
Yeah.
everybody one thing, one time. Same thing for us, right? We've only had to be told once. No. And if you want to go deeper into each of these topics, do watch episode 200, because that's where we spend ample time digging into these things and how to communicate it, and a little bit from the patient's perspective too.
Yep.
All right. Next major topic that must be included: holding is healing. This is paramount, because this is a huge shift, especially as it pertains to like just the chiropractic profession as a whole, right? It's like there is this mindset of, I want to be adjusted because I'm paying for this adjustment. No, you're paying for the appointment, the doctor's time. The
Yeah.
goal is not to have an adjustment. That's you want to come in and you're good to go. You're in alignment, everything's good. If a patient can get this, then it's like their mindset is correct on the way in, and you don't have to feel obligated that you should be doing something for them because they're paying you.
That's
So
right.
many doctors, I know, I've talked to you and you struggle with, I feel they come in and I know that they drove all the way here, and I feel like I need to be doing something for them. They're paying for, doc, they're paying for your expertise analysis. they're paying for it. Heck, if you really want to do something, maybe take some time to educate them. Hey, you'll educate them on holding is healing,
That's right.
and so
That's
now
right.
they're receiving information. You're checking them. That is a huge value in and of itself, right? If I go into a dentist and I don't have a cavity, I don't, I
Yeah.
don't go, oh, dang it, drill my teeth. Come on,
Right.
So we don't do that, man. So
Yeah.
holding
No,
is healing is, let's celebrate that stability. Go ahead.
absolutely. And I'll tell you, you mentioned it earlier, red flags, right? If you have some of these red flags in your practice of like, people aren't getting it,
Yeah.
go back to this concept. Holding is healing is crucial. It is what separates upper cervical from all other,
Yes.
almost everything.
Yes.
All other health approaches, because the whole idea here, right, is it's especially when people have come out of a general chiropractic world and mindset, right? You have to
Sure.
overemphasize this, right? Because it's not about being adjusted. It's not about being adjusted. It's about holding the adjustment. That's the key. That is the key. And it has to be communicated during day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. Like, I mean,
It's
literally every
yeah.
day that you have that patient in your practice, this concept should be communicated in some way, shape, or form, right? And like you said, Tony, if they get this one to me is the one that is the most important, because they start to then realize, when I'm in alignment, I'm healthy.
Right.
When I'm not in alignment, I'm not
Yeah.
healthy. And if
Right.
when they get that, it changes everything,
Right.
because then they're not going to want to miss appointments.
Right.
They're not going to want to.
They're being
They don't.
mindful.
They don't want to get adjusted, right? If they get this, they don't want to get adjusted, because when they come in and they're like, "Oh, I'm out of alignment, aren't I? Darn it!" They're upset about that, right? That's when you start to see they get it. They get it, because
That's
now
right.
they see you as someone that helps them to keep their body healthy and strong and stable, and gives them the freedom and the flexibility to do the things they want to do and improve their quality of life, because they're in alignment. Their
That's
body
right.
is in alignment, and they're as healthy as they possibly can be. So this one, oh man, so important.
We said we are going to go over them quickly, and here we are digging in.
Well, just a little
But
bit.
it's important. On this
I
one, it
had to
makes
hit it.
sense.
I had to hit these two. I
Yeah.
had to hit these two. But yeah, holding and sealing. All
Now,
right, go on. Keep
there's
going.
also well,
Yeah.
okay, hold on. So there's also a passive way to celebrate these wins too. I want to
Yes.
equip them. I want to equip if you're watching this, something to equip you with. There's passive ways to celebrate. Yes, you're going to talk to them about it, but there's also you can have maybe you do a raffle and you raffle off a few gift cards at the end of the month, and people are, every time they're healing, they drop a ticket in the jar, and then next to the jar it says "holding is healing!" ! Whatever, and
Yep.
your team saying "holding is," oh, you held, yay, cool, yeah, fill that out,
Yep.
It's just warm fuzzies, and it's front of mind always on these visits.
Yep. Absolutely.
All right. This is huge from a patient perspective. You say this, hey, I want to show you how to get the best and the fastest results. You could even add in there the most long lasting, how to get the best, the fastest, most long lasting results. They're going to be all ears. They'll be like, yes. Who doesn't want the best results? Who doesn't want the fastest results? Who doesn't want the ones that last the longest? Like, this is what, absolutely. So communicating this is a major one to communicate, absolutely. And then it's going to let them know what they need to be doing as well. So posture, diet, daily activities, exercise, all these different things, right? And there's multiple ways to really kind of help communicate this along the way, but making sure that you're connecting them and you're repeating that line. Hey, the reason we do a patient orientation class is because we want to make sure that you know how to get the best and the fastest results.
That's right. That's right. And that's how I would always frame my patient orientation class. Why do I want you to come to this? Because I want you to get the best results possible, and I want you to get as fast results as possible. I want you to, get fast relief, maximum recovery, long-lasting results. That's why we do this class. That's why, you're going to come on, Tuesday at 6:30 for this 30-minute class so I can teach you how to hold your adjustment, because holding is healing, right? Right. So it's reinforcing it, the educational process. The class is a key piece of a patient education system,
Yeah.
but everything else has to go with it.
And you could even say too, this is why I'm taking my time to
Yeah.
communicate, because it's so important to me. Now their trust, and like your trust goes up,
Yep.
because you are an advocate for them.
That's it.
Another one is explaining the path to healing. What are the stages? Again, this is back to expectations, patient expectations, right? So the path to healing. What are the stages of care? They should have a general understanding, of the different, we'll call phases or stages of care, right? And they're just different, and otherwise they're going to be frustrated in month 2 when it feels like things have plateaued, right? Or they're within that first month and they're like, when's the breakthrough, And so like it says there in that second bullet point, it's about managing expectations and making sure that they're committed, right? Because we know that if they're committed and they stick it out, they're going to experience positive things.
Yeah.
They're going to. Like, it's just a matter of time. And now it may not be to the level they were expecting or whatever, who knows, but there's going to be positive change. That's going to happen. And so the path to healing is so important. This is important too for, to be hitting along the way, but also progress exams,
Mhm.
reassessments of the care plans and saying, okay, here's where you're at. Here's how far you've come. Here's
Yeah.
what the journey has been so far. And here's, you came to us with XYZ, and those things, there's been improvement in those things as well.
Yeah. 100%.
And I think we got the last thing here. This is the number 7, the importance of keeping appointments. Now, if you do all the other ones,
Mhm.
they should start to passively know, like, yeah, it's important that I need to make my appointments. But I would even have it be something verbally that's stated as well. And so, hey, it's super important to keep your appointments. Everything we just talked about.
Yeah.
This is why it's important to keep your appointments, right? And so
And the
it's
concept that I
crucial.
would always give during the report of findings and then reiterate in follow-up visits is every appointment builds on the ones before,
Yeah,
right? It's a
yeah,
very, very crucial concept.
yeah.
Every appointment builds on the ones before, meaning that we have a sequence of appointments, and every time you're here, there's a reason for it, right? We're checking you on a schedule that's most likely when you're going to go out of alignment, because we want to keep
Right.
you in alignment,
Right.
because holding is healing, right?
And every day that you're not in alignment is a
Is the
day
day
you're
you're
going
going
backwards,
backwards. Yep.
not forwards.
Right.
Right. And so, like, that's a huge one there too. Right. And so don't miss your appointments, because we want to make sure that you're in alignment. So you're moving forwards and you're getting the best, the fastest, and most long lasting results.
That's it. That's it. Yeah. And so let's talk about some specifics on this.
Some tools.
Yeah, specific tools, specific ways, some things that you need in order
Yeah.
to have a upper cervical specific patient education system in your office. So, one of the most important things, one of the biggest learning styles, one of the most people in the world have visual learning style, a visual learning style. And that's why it's crucial that you have visual ways to show people what you're talking about, right? That it's not just, you're not just going to tell them, you're going to show them, right? That's why there's so many different reasons, or there's so many different ways you can do that. Even with your report of findings, you're showing them films, you're showing them CVCTs, you're showing them these types of things, right? But there's more to it than just the report of findings. And even during the report of findings, having visuals that are, first of all, that are accurate, right? That are actually specific to what you're talking about is crucial. But then also having ways that you can use visuals on future visits, on progress exam visits, on individual, on recurring visits. So we've recently partnered with UC Strategic Solutions. They have developed some really the best posters that I've ever seen. The best posters that I've ever seen that are upper cervical specific. that you can use in your upper cervical practice. And that is part of what we really recommend now, is using these types of graphics, these visuals when you're looking at the effects of an upper cervical misalignment, when you're talking about how posture changes, how it changes your body because of the misalignment, how it changes your posture, how the muscles and the impact of that on this upper cervical spine, how blood flow is impacted. All these types of things, these concepts, these even like the misalignment and your brain, like all these things that help patients to understand the far-reaching aspects of the upper cervical misalignment and how it impacts your body is really, really crucial. Having these kind of graphics is a must with a patient education system.
And it works for you even when you're not there. So like I can think of so many times that my family and I have been, just waiting in the room for, a couple minutes or something, and or waiting on, my wife's getting checked, but I'm standing there. Right.
Yep.
And so, or the spouse, so the spouse is, the kids are, I mean, even so, like, and you're standing there, you're doing nothing. You've already shut your phone off, because everybody should be putting their phones
Yep.
away. Now they've got something to read, and they're
Yeah. That's actually
self-educating and looking at
beneficial.
pictures. It's like,
Yeah.
why not?
Exactly. And again, it's reinforcing what you've already told them,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
When they're reading it on their own while they're waiting for you in the room, that's reinforcing what you've already told them. Maybe you've shown them that poster before. Maybe you've told them about that poster before, but now they're reading it on their own, right? There's a huge benefit to that. Another part
One
of
more
this,
thing. Oh, no, I got one more thing. This just popped in my head. So sorry. Sometimes there can be, how you get used to things being in the same place every time, and then like you don't even like notice it anymore.
yep,
Move your posters, like just switch them. So if you've got 8 of them, then you just put them in different rooms, rotate them around so they see different stuff, and they go, oh, it's different. It's a pattern interrupt. Otherwise, they start to filter it anyway, and there's
it's true.
mindless.
It's
Anyway,
true.
just a thought.
Yep, that is a good one. So the next one, as part of that the system, is brochures, right? Having upper cervical specific brochures is really, really important. Number one, because it's another way to communicate what you're telling people. Is you can give them a brochure to take home with them. They can share that with their family. They can do different things like that. But also, a huge benefit is helping them to see the impact of the upper cervical misalignment on health and how it impacts the body in different ways. Many times patients get very focused in on their specific condition, right? They came in to see you with Meniere's disease, for instance, right? So they think of you as the Meniere's disease doctor, right? The doctor that helps them with their Meniere's disease. But their neighbor next door is having an issue with migraines, and they never even thought of migraines for you, right? They never even thought about migraines in your office because it's not what they have, right? So having brochures helps people to expand their mind on different things that are impacted by the upper cervical misalignment. And
One of the
so,
things I found helpful for these things too is like, even just like, let's say that you've got, 12 of them or more. You can see that there's more there. But if for a condition, like maybe pick 12 different conditions with flyers and say, hey, August is going to be migraine month, migraine awareness month. And so every patient gets it. And you mentioned like that, and you're going to get some people like get it and go, oh, you guys help with this? November is fibromyalgia month. Oh, I didn't realize you guys help with this. And so,
that's right.
yeah, give that to anybody let them know about this.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why, and you can use all sorts of different things like, in-office flyers and different things like that to reiterate some of these concepts. Again, showing it to people in different ways, giving people different opportunities to see it, to hear it, to read it. And then the other part of this system is making sure that you have really good video content, right? Videos obviously is something that, the internet is video in many ways, right? A majority of internet is video. And why is that? Because people learn through video. It's a very, very effective medium for teaching people. And so when we're looking at video, one of a great documentary that was created just a few years ago now, the Secret to Healing documentary, is a really, really effective way to, have some just fantastic upper cervical doctors talking about upper cervical patients in there, testimonials, just a really great documentary. This is something that, I did in my practice when I was in practice in my lobby. I would have that be a big part of my patient education system. And so I always had a flat screen TV on my wall in my lobby, and I had all my chairs pointing at it. And so when people came and sat in my office, they sat in my lobby. If they were in there for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever it was, they were going to be seeing something that's educational at upper cervical on that screen. And this is a great thing to do for that, right? Have this on a loop and just continue, with subtitles. You can either do it with audio or without, either way. And you can have this just continually playing in your front lobby, so that people are getting this, they're getting 5 minutes of education, 10 minutes of education, whatever, while they're sitting there. And that can really help to reinforce key concepts of upper cervical.
Yeah. I mean, the documentary is amazing. They've got like 30 plus, upper cervical specialists on here sharing their stories. It's produced extremely well.
Yep.
And it brings so much authority to it, and we're building the trust factor for potential patients waiting to be seen, as well as education for current patients to stay the course, right? And it's fantastic. Another way to use it too, not just in the lobby, which I think is a fantastic way, is to have a movie night. Just like say, hey, we're going to do, we've got space seating for like 12 to 15 people. You do RSVP only. You get some popcorn, you get some snacks or whatever, some drinks, and it's like we're gonna have this here to really learn true healing and where does it come from, and and look at how it can work for you, how you can get the best, fastest, and most long-lasting results. This is a whole documentary about this. Invite your friends, invite your coworkers, your neighbors. So something like that, an event, is another good way to utilize this powerful documentary.
Absolutely. And so another part of this patient education system is a new patient email sequence. And Tony, can you talk about what that's all about?
Again, we're looking at tools. Okay. What do they need to know, right? And what are the methods for doing? There's the visuals. There's the in person, right? There's the team communicating. It's stuff on the walls, all these different things. Well, another way to do that is text and emails. And so this specific thing here that we're looking at is an email sequence that drips this information on a weekly basis. Let's say that's what I would recommend. Is this, pick one, and each of these emails has specific content that's going to help them to get the best, fastest, most long-lasting results. And that is one of the topics too, but to educate these patients. Okay, so all these 7 topics right here that you can see on the screen. What is a subluxation? How long until my symptoms go away? Retracing, holding is healing, how to get the best and fastest results, the path to healing, the importance of keeping appointments. All of these are broken up. So one by one, you're getting an email every single week. Now, the copy, we have the copy written for that because you don't want it to be too long. I know you doctors have never over communicated ever in your life. All the information in your brain. So you want it to be, but you don't want it to be too short either, where it's not motivating enough. So you want it to be, you want them to understand why it's important for them to read it, and that it's quick for them to read and go from there. And I recommend also strategizing together for like a short video and adding the video into that video link as a thumbnail into it. And so that has so much more value, and they can click and play and read it. And there's just so many opportunities. So this new patient email sequence is huge as another tool to help to reinforce it, because it's not just one time that you say something, and even if you do a bang up job at it, it's the poster, it's the team saying it, it's you saying it, it's on day 1, it's on day 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, right? It's the emails that they're getting throughout the week, it's the website itself. All these different things work together to provide an impactful and efficient and effective new patient education system.
That's it. That's it. And so,
Look at that thing.
yeah, look at that beautiful thing. Everything we've talked about today, this whole UC specific patient education system, we have put it all together for you. We've got it in one bundle now. All these tools, everything we talked about, the brochures, the posters, the documentary, the new patient education, the new patient email sequence, right?
Yeah.
All of it, everything that you have, all these tools, all in one. It's amazing. I'm excited about this because this is something that is so beneficial for any doctor who's in any stage of growth to have this in their practice, to have this be able to be used in their practice. And what's cool about this too is it's completely customizable. It's completely customizable. You can take all of these files, all of these things, and you can edit them if you have a problem with anything that's in there. You can add your logos to it. You can do it. It's a fully customizable tools that you can use. So all the brochures, all the posters, the documentary with all the little highlights of it too that you can use on your website as well. The full new patient email sequence with all of the emails and the if you want to record custom videos, you can add those to those already created emails, and it's all loaded up for you, ready to go. And here's the awesome thing. Usually it's $3,000, a $3,000 value for this whole thing. Today, if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, it's only $1,697. And we'll also say that if you are watching this as a replay, if you're listening to this 2 years down the road, we will honor this price, $1,697. And so if you want this full UC specific patient education system, it's only $1,697. And you get it all. You get all the brochures, all the posters, that documentary, the new patient email sequence. And Tony, how do they get in contact with you?
Well, it's even better than that because this is lifetime access.
Yes.
So as new things are created,
you're
grandfathered in.
Yeah.
There's no additional stuff. This is a one-time investment, and all of a sudden you're good to go.
Yeah.
Moving forward, as new things are released and added in there, you just log in, get your file, boom, 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 you're done. You know what I mean? New emails get added. Great. They're part of they get added to it, man. That's what's nice about it too, really, because it's just a one-off. That's huge. And so all that to say is let's have a conversation. I want to help. I want to get you these tools. I want you to be able to better educate, retain, get referrals, all these different things. I know this is going to work. I know it already does work. It already is working, and I know it can work for you. So let's have a free practice growth strategy session. It's essentially it's a phone call. Let's have a conversation. Let's find out where your sticking points are. How do we get you these tools? Hit me up. Go to ucpracticegrowthsystems.com. You can pick a time there, and that'd probably be the best way, because then you can see my schedule and pick a time that works for you. And let's talk. Let's get you the tools you need so you have amazing, educated patients who stay in care. They refer others, and they're getting fantastic results.
That's it. UC specific patient education system. Go over to the website, ucmpracticegrowthsystems.com. Click on Start Growing, grab a time with Tony, talk you through all of it, get all your questions answered, have you get clear on exactly what it is, what it is included, what isn't, the whole bit, and you can get it into your practice within days after that. So really, really cool stuff. Go get it. All right. And as always, we love you guys. We love that you listen to us, and that that we learn together about how to grow practices every week on this, the Upper Cervical Marketing Podcast. And as we always say, go team Upper Cervical.